Hello, I'm Charles Kovess, Australasia's passion provocateur, and this is my Christmas message to you, recorded on Christmas Eve, and it happens to be episode 180 of the weekly Charles Kovess Show. I welcome you whether you're watching on YouTube, on Rumble, or listening via podcast. I'm wearing my Merry Christmas hat by way of a change. This episode is going to be particularly short. I didn't want to burden you down with too much material, didn't want to give you too many tools. I want to share a couple of dull ideas with you that I think will set you up for 2024 whilst having a wonderful Christmas. I do wish you a happy Christmas and a happy New Year. I prefer to say Happy Christmas and Happy New Year rather than Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy is much better than merry. I'm grateful that you are in my life and that you're watching or listening to this show. I am grateful to be married to Julie. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. I'm grateful for so many things that this whole show I could go for about 45 minutes listing all of the things for which I'm grateful. Christmas is a terrific time to remind us about the things for which we are grateful. I have 4 messages to you encompassed in the word dull. Those 4 words are discern, unite, learn, love. Because the Christmas season, and I call it Christmas rather than holiday season or season's greetings or festive, Christmas comes from the Christian foundation of Western civilization. I make no bones about that. The discernment I wish for you at this time, where you have a little bit more time to think, is to think about how to discern out of all the messages we're receiving, messages that are going to be good for you. I'm constantly wanting to increase my discernment skills, to be able to discern wise from unwise, good from bad, better from worse, useful to not useful, essential to not essential, sources of information, good sources of information compared to bad sources of information. I wish you discernment and I wish you awareness around your ability to discern. The U stands for unite. It is my view that humanity is at grave risk. The Great Reset agenda, which is an agenda of the World Economic Forum, is evil at its extreme. The solution to the World Economic Forum desire for one world government that I've been talking about for 180 episodes, or it lies at the heart of my 180 episodes, the solution to opposing this agenda is for humanity to unite. When we humans, when we men and women unite, we are incredibly strong. When we are divided, we are weak. I recommend to you Dr. Shiva, one of the candidates for the 2024 US presidential election. I recommend to you Dr. Shiva's short video called The Swarm Video. In 15 minutes on a whiteboard, he explains why a tiny minority of elites, less than 50,000 people, are able today to control 8,000 million normal, average men and women. This is a great effort and an amazing strategic plan by these elites, who I don't consider to be elites other than I'm using the language so that you remember who we're talking about. This tiny number of people are controlling 8,000 million of us by keeping us divided. When we unite, the elites will have no power over us. That unity is covered in my last letter of my dull message, which is love. But before we get to love, the third letter of dull is learning. My show is intended to provoke, inspire, motivate you to keep your learning journey going. Initially about you, about your own self-awareness, but to keep learning, because the threats against humanity is such that each one of us has to rejuvenate, to reinvigorate our desire to keep learning. And then you can't learn crap. That's where the discernment comes in. This is a message to get you excited for the upcoming year of increasing your learning. When you're having your Christmas celebrations, what can you learn from the people around you? Every one of us has different experiences. We can learn from every person. Are you hungry to learn? Then your ability to learn is a function of your health. So then you go, well, I want to learn, therefore I have to be looking after my health, because learning takes energy. I want to keep learning. That's why I look after my health. So when you make this decision to want to keep learning about justice, about freedom, about lawful solutions, about health, about the vast explosion of information about what good health is, then you need to be healthy. But it starts with this decision of the desire to learn. And then lastly, love. Discern, unite, learn, love. Christmas is the message of Christ, and Christ's message was one of love. I'm a Christian, Julie's a Christian. The great challenge of Christianity is to love people who think differently to us. Indeed, Christ said you have to love your enemies. That's a tough call. That's what's difficult about Christianity. It's really easy to love people who agree with you, who are nice. At this time of Christmas, be reminded of this message, because we cannot unite with people who we refuse to care about, to think about, to want to love. And this is not some namby-pamby love. This is the love that Christ was talking about, of do unto others what you would have them do to you. When we accept that each person that we're spending Christmas with, that we work with, that we speak to is a weirdo, it makes it easier to love. And then when we make this conscious decision to love, then it becomes easier to unite, to have humanity uniting, even though we're Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, whatever we are. They're just labels, a way to practice this gift of life that we have. But the elites will win if we stay divided. Christ's message was one of love. Christmas is about being reminded of what Christ's message was. We celebrate that important arrival of Christ, the impact that Christianity has had over the last 2,000 years. And I, having thought about this and having learned a lot and being very discerning, it is my view that love is the solution, not hate. And love is the solution, not fear. So take Christmas. My message is, take this opportunity to reinvigorate your desire to love those around you, even those who give you a hard time, even those that might harm you. For those of you who are not often on this call, I will now include the usual last part of the show, which is the foundational principles for this show and more background about my journey to here. Please visit my websites, charlescovest.com, covest.com. Send me any questions you have, suggestions to charles@covest.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a happy Christmas. There will be a New Year message next week, but if you don't get it, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas. Happiness is the way to live life. Thanks for being here. Bye for now. And now, for viewers and listeners who want to know more about my background and what else I do with my life, as well as the foundational principles of the show. Here we are. Since 1993, when I left my legal career, a career that I love, to become Australasia's passion provocateur, I have inspired and provoked and educated and motivated people all over the world to discover and pursue their passion. I have helped people via the books that I've written, via speeches at conferences, via in-depth team building programs, workshops over 1, 2 or 3 days, or over 3 months, 6 months. And I've coached people of all ages, one-on-one, from small, medium and large enterprises, government enterprises, helping them to identify the often tiny changes that can make a massive difference. One of my core principles is that freedom is what makes us truly human. That's why one of the greatest threats that government imposes on you to force you to observe its laws is the threat of imprisonment, the loss of your freedom. Just think about that. Government says, if you don't behave yourself, we're going to put you in jail. No, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to lose my freedom. That's a reminder to you of why freedom is so important. Without freedom, you and I are not much different to animals. If you were locked up in a cage for the rest of your life, how different would you be to an animal? This commitment to fighting for freedoms for all people is carried out by me primarily through 5 channels. Number 1, preserving the freedom to pursue your passion. Number 2, inspiring you to be able to be free through excellent health. Number 3, helping preserve freedom throughout the world through the expansion of industrial hemp, a magnificent agricultural crop, an almost miraculous crop that enables every community to thrive independently of government. In this way, the power of government to take away freedom is minimized. Number 4, fighting for freedom through legal strategies. So I do work as a legal strategy consultant, as an interface between clients and their lawyers. And number 5, as chairman of the Australian Institute of Comedy and as a board member of the Australian Cartoon Museum, fighting for the freedom of thought and speech through uncensored comedy and humour, through avoiding political correctness in the comedic space. When you block freedom of speech, freedom of thought, that's the beginning of the end of your freedoms. The foundational principles for the Charles Kovess Show are founded on the formula SA plus P equals S. Your self-awareness added to your passion will guarantee that you are successful. And the best definition of success I have found in life is that success is the progressive realization of your worthy ideals. The progressive realization of your worthy ideals. This show is also guided by Socrates' famous principle and quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living." You can see I'm wearing my red jacket. I wear my red jacket for all my shows. Red is the color of passion, so that when you see me on the YouTube version, it reminds you that when you see red in your life, you ask yourself the question, am I pursuing my passion? What am I passionate about? Am I still passionate about that? What might I newly be passionate about? Each week I explore one big idea that can change your life. And it's just one big idea because there's a chance you will remember it. If I give you too many ideas, then we get confused and we don't do anything. Clarity leads to power. Confusion kills passion. Each week I share simple and practical resources that you've heard me describe in the earlier part of the show. A spiritual tip, a health tip, lyrics of a song, a book, a quote, and of course humour. This show is not politically correct. I have no intention of being politically correct. And I love certain addictions, including my addiction to great coffee, my addiction to exercise, my addiction to reading, and my addiction to certain other unmentionable in public type behaviours. Who would know what they are? This show definitely subscribes to the view that we have a spiritual life. So if you don't like discussion of spirituality, this show is not for you. I promise you that I don't include anything in this show that I don't consider to be true and that I have not found to be useful in the work that I've done over the past 28 years, but also over the past 50 years in business, as a lawyer, as a consultant advisor. I only want to share stuff with you that is of value to you. Finally, if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to contact me at charles@covest.com. Again, thanks for watching and listening to my show. Bye.